Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Meet the Candidates. Today we are doing the school committee race, and I am joined by Richard Greer. Richard, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Good to have you here. So let's start with the easiest question, and that is, who are you?
Okay, my name's Rich Greer, as you already introduced me. I work as an engineer in the biotech industry. I've been doing that for over 3 decades now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have 6 kids. 5 have gone through Marshfield schools. One is currently still in Furnace Brook. I also went through Marshfield schools. I went to Ames Way, Grace Ryder, Furnace Brook, and then the high school. And I've been on the school committee now for 11 years, so I'm seeking another term.
Great. And what made you decide to run again?
I believe I add value. Hopefully the folks around town think I continue to add value. It's more to contribute and maintain all of the good things that we have going now.
So, since you've been on the board, you said 11 years now?
Yes.
What are some of the things you've focused on over the years? What are some of the accomplishments that you've worked on?
Well, we've focused on all. Eventually, over time, we tend to gravitate towards our, skill sets, right? Right now, I oversee capital projects as the school committee liaison. Furnace Brook was a good example of one that we did, delivered on time, on budget, which was a good thing. And now I have the Martinson roof that we're working on. I'm going to use I a lot, but it's really, being on a committee, it's we. It's all of us. And then we have subcommittees, which are 2 people. But one of my big contributions was being a member of the 2-person subcommittee. We rewrote all of the policies. And that was about 8 or 9 years ago. So we sat down, we went through every policy, rewrote them, made them more Marshfield applicable. I've been on a number of other subcommittees, budget, finance, fields, capital projects. The list goes on and on and on. It's not just 1 or 2 meetings a month, right? It's usually 10, 20, even more hours per week that we have to put in doing other subcommittees.
So, you're on the school committee. Do you have any other involvement in the community with regards to maybe the school or other community engagements? Oh,
sure, yeah. So I'm on the board for baseball, Marshfield Youth Baseball. I've been on the board for Marshfield Youth Hockey in the past. I've coached hockey, soccer, baseball, lacrosse, the list goes on and on. I was also a hockey official, a soccer official, lacrosse official. In addition, I missed a couple things on, now that I brought up sports, actually through the school committee in Marshfield, I'm actually on 2 of the MIA boards, both hockey and rugby. And I'm also involved with a couple organizations, Daniel Webster Lodge, Masons, as well as the Knights of Columbus.
No lack of involvement, huh?
Right. One other thing I do is, for the past 11 years, I've been the delegate for the Mass Association of School Committees annual conference. So what that means is we vote as a committee on resolutions that are going to be brought forth to that conference, and I represent Marshfield on that.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. Let's get into one of the civics here. Civics 101. What is the actual role of the school committee?
So the role of the school committee is to hire and terminate the superintendent. I'm sure Pat doesn't want to hear that. We set the budget and we affect policy.
And so that means you work closely with the superintendent?
Yes. The superintendent carries out day-to-day business on behalf of the school committee, right? Similar to the town administrator or things like, and other positions. And however, the superintendent does answer to the school committee.
Now, you've been on the board for the committee for 11 years now,
yes.
Almost 12. What do you feel like you bring to the table in the position?
Well, I bring a lot. In personal experience, I have, of course, unfortunately, everybody reaches a point in their career where they have to know finance, they have to know HR, as well as other technical aspects of their job. What I bring is 11 years of experience. And when I first got on, I had the benefit of learning from Marty Morrison, Carol Schran, Dennis Scollins, and Nancy Curry. Right, so I carry forth some of their wisdom. And like any other job, right, the longer you do it, the more proficient you become at it.
Right.
So at this point, after 11 years, I've held every position. I'm currently the secretary. I've been the chair, I've been the vice chair. I've also been member at large, the other two positions, right, that don't hold the chair, vice chair, or secretary position. I've been on every subcommittee. We have over a dozen subcommittees. Yeah, so the other thing also that I bring to the table is I work closely with the Director of Business and Finance to make sure that we're on track budget-wise, as do the other members, but I'm taking credit for myself in this conversation, right?
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I have to say that it's really a collective of all of us working closely together, but we as a board, with my contributions, have been able to maintain, and this is just a rough number, but an expense budget of $8 million a year over the past 11 years. So our overall budget increases because of salaries and things like that, but our pure expenses, we've been able to chop out the unnecessary things so that we've actually maintained a rough average of about $8 million for expenses. Yeah, so we'd like to continue that. We've also, all of us collectively, we encourage, unlike committees around the country, we encourage public involvement. We want parental feedback. Mm-hmm. It's all about the community. You know, we not only have an obligation to the students, but we have an obligation to the taxpayers of this community also.
Now, there are multiple school committee members. How do you kind of go about working together collaboratively?
We happen to hit it right. We actually have, I consider it the highest performing school committee statewide. I've interacted with a lot of other ones. For a lot of folks, it's just a title. Mm-hmm. And we're fortunate to be here in Marshfield, where every member on the current committee brings something different to the table. We do have disagreements. We're not all in lockstep with each other. Which makes it good. And we have, if you set the five of us there, we have skills that overlap with each other, but we all bring something unique to the table, which I think makes us, as a community, better off than some of these other communities. And once in a great while we get heated, but we discuss things as a group. And we actually learn from each other. We don't trade favors. There's no quid pro quo. We discuss things rationally as adults and make the right decision for our community.
That's great. And kind of going into some of the challenges, what do you feel like the biggest challenges the school system's facing right now?
The biggest challenge, I would say, is budget. Right, budget's tight this year. We have contingencies to make everything work, so we're fine next year. Going into next year's budget, I do have some concerns, which I've had concerns for the past 3 or 4 years, but we managed to work through it ahead of time, so we're not blindsided by any shortcomings. So we'll be working closely with the Board of Selectmen and other groups within the town to make sure that we're adequately funded for next year.
And how do you kind of make up that budget shortfall, things like that, like as these kind of things kind of approach, like you said, next year? How do you make up that difference? Well,
we actually we have each school make a list. And so we call it a bad idea list, which is a worst case scenario, right? So when I do this, I always start the conversation without laying off staff. How do we get our budget balanced for next year? So an example may be we have reducing enrollment and 2 teachers are retiring next year. Well, that opens up a chunk of money that we don't have to spend next year. That's just an example. Mm-hmm. There's a number of things. We need less materials for a certain class, or some of the other things. There was a bus fee implemented, right, to make up transportation shortfalls, along with rerouting, right, to get rid of the empty buses for the high school. So certain things like that. Athletic fees was another one, going back a few years.
So if you're elected for another term, that'll put you at 15 years by the end of your term, correct?
Right, well, yeah, 14, 15, yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the things you'd like to focus on more specifically?
Well, I don't have anything specific. I want to continue improvement on all of the good things that we have. Now, there's so many moving parts and pieces in this. I actually rely on community input to identify areas that need to be improved upon. So I don't have anything specific. We continue the budget. That's always the big one. Make sure that we have adequate training for our staff, that we have the right superintendent in place, and that our policies are aligned with our overall vision for the community.
If someone were to move to Marshfield and they wanted to know about the Marshfield school system for their children, what would you tell them?
I'd say I've had 6 kids that have gone through this. I've been through Marshfield. We're much better off than we were when I went through school. Mm-hmm. So I give past committees credit where it's due. We have a really, really good school system. Each principal in the school has their unique flavor for that school. The team spirit seems to be up there for all of them. I highly recommend anybody putting their kids in Marshfield Public Schools.
Great. And so, getting into kind of some of the fun aspects of the interview here, what's something that people might not know about you? A fun fact.
Well, there's a lot of things. Actually, I'm a licensed pyrotechnician.
Wow.
Yep, I've worked on a few movies, special effects department. I also do fireworks shows for different towns coming towards the 4th of July. Most of them up in Maine, but I do Seekonk Speedway, South Hadley, Mass, Westford, a couple other towns.
What goes into learning how to do that?
Actually, my military experience made it very easy. Actually, a friend of mine owns a fireworks company in Maine, so I worked through his company to do my apprenticeship. And then I sat for the Maine state exam. So I'm licensed in Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Mass. So after I did a few shows up in Maine, I sat for my Mass license. And I use it to hang out with my kids. So my older kids like doing the shows. They get some money for college or for whatever they want to spend it on.
Yeah.
So it's really a social thing for me at this point.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What is your favorite television show of all time?
I'd have to say Beverly Hillbillies.
Really?
Yeah, the original. The black and whites. The colored ones, once you get to 1966, I like the black and whites better.
What is it about you, Beverly Hillbillies that you like?
It's just very lighthearted.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of... they make fun of everything and everybody.
Yeah.
It's just very lighthearted. No one's offended. I just love the show. I grew up on it.
Where do you watch that?
I watch it on MeTV. It's on at 9 o'clock weeknights.
Nice.
Yeah.
My predecessor John used to ask this. I'll ask you: if we were to take your iPod or whatever it is you listen to music with, what would we hear?
You'd hear everything from classical to prog metal. I play guitar.
Yeah.
So I play a little bit of everything. And I also play banjo, violin, viola, anything with strings I play.
Cool.
So my parents were in the country and bluegrass. So actually the bluegrass is what got me into like heavy metal or speed metal. Same thing, just a little distortion and play it in a minor key instead of major, and you're good to go.
Awesome. That's really cool. Does your music exist anywhere that someone might be able to look it up online and listen to it?
I don't have a playlist saved, or you mean my personal music?
Yeah,
me playing?
like you playing.
I have some old cassette tapes of bands that I was in, but nothing more recent than cassette.
Cool. To kind of rein it back in, if people want to know more about you and your campaign and why you're running for school committee, where could they find it?
I'm going to be posting online. I'm not doing a political page this time.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that actually wants to text me, text is best. My number is 617-676-8376. You can also reach me at richard.greer@mpsd.org. That's my for school-related things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anybody can text me anytime, and I will respond.
Great.
Yep.
And last but not least, why are you the best candidate?
I would say I'm one of a few best candidates for this overall 5-member board,
Mm-hmm.
right? But for this particular one, based on my experience, my contributions, I still have kids, or one kid in the public schools. I have a vested interest in the community, And I have a lot going on right now, actually, for the school committee. I'm doing all the contract negotiations for all the bargaining units within the district. Again, the 2 MIAA boards, overseeing the roof project for Martinson, as well as the other subcommittee duties that I have. So I think I'm pretty good at that, those things. So, you know, given what's going on right now, I would say I'm the best candidate for that, because it's all happening right now.
Great. That's pretty much all we have time for, but is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, just please get out to vote on May 3rd. And again, Rich Greer, running for re-election for school committee. I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Great. And that's all the time we have for Meet the Candidates. May 3rd, get out and vote, use your voice, and be heard. And we'll see you in the next one, folks.